So thank you so much, man, for taking the time today. We were talking internally about, like, you know, we cover a lot of concerts and stuff, and this year it's been, obviously, hasn't been a lot of concerts. So we just were thinking about, you know, stuff that's interesting, and we've run some of your mashups on the site. So we thought, you know what, let's interview this guy and see what you have to say.
All right, cool.
Awesome. So I guess the first question I have for you is how did you start doing this? Like, how did you kind of come into this?
Well, I am a musician. I'm a guitar player, and I've been playing guitar for a long time, and got kind of bored with it, to be honest. I was kind of looking for something else to do, and I had seen and heard a lot of mashups that other people have done, and videos that they've made to go along with them and everything like that, and I was interested in it and thought, well, I know how these are being put together. I know that there are isolated vocal tracks on the internet, that there are instrumental versions of songs, and so it's really just a matter of figuring out songs that will go together and then just taking the time to download them and put them in some kind of mixing software. And so I just, I experimented with some things and tried to find some things that would work together. First one that I came up with was Steely Dan and Motley Crue. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. So, I put them together, and I thought it sounded cool, and I just posted it on Facebook, and this is before I had a YouTube channel. And a lot of people really liked it, and I thought, well, maybe I'll start a YouTube channel too and put some videos on there and just kind of see where it goes. So, that's pretty much how it started.
That's awesome. Are you a metal fan? You said you're a guitar player. Did you grow up as a metal fan?
I did. Metal, hard rock, that kind of stuff. I got into Black Sabbath when I was probably like 14, 15 years old. Deep Purple. Then from there, I kind of got into Van Halen, Motley Crue, and the 80s rock stuff. And so, yeah, definitely liked a lot of that. And then a little later on got into more of like the funk and R&B and soul music. And that's kind of the thing on my channel. A lot of times I'll put songs from those two genres together, Yeah, people kind of coined the term soul metal, and, a lot of people really like those ones. They like the metal music with soul singers. And I do too. I think it sounds awesome together. So I like to put those kind together for sure.
Yeah, those are two of my favorite genres too. So like, and honestly, some of the stuff you do, it's like, it's good to hear you're a musician, because it's obvious from listening to your work that you have an ear for music, But the Rat Marvin Gaye one was the one that I was like, wow, this is like its own song. It's amazing.
That was the one that put me on the map. That was about maybe the 20th one that I did. So I did a bunch before that. I have been doing them for not quite a year yet. And that one, I posted it to YouTube, and it really didn't get a lot of hits, but maybe a couple weeks after I posted it, I noticed that I had a lot more views than before. It was like, before that it was like maybe 500 views, and then I saw that there was like 900 some, and then the next day it was over 10,000, and then later on in that day it was over 100,000. I'm like, what is going on?
Nice.
Because that had never happened before, and I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this whole soul metal thing. People really dig it, and so I did a bunch more after that. But yeah, those two, they go together really well.
Yeah.
A lot of musical elements that really work well on both sides, so it's pretty cool.
Awesome. So have any artists ever approached you about work you've done with this stuff?
I have had a few. Yeah, in fact, the one that you just mentioned, the Rat Marvin Gaye, Bobby Blotzer from Rat, the drummer, he contacted me on Facebook just to basically tell me that he really enjoyed it. He thought it was really cool, and he wanted to do a project of like all Rat songs, like Rat instrumentals with soul singers and stuff like that. And I thought it was a good idea, but I mean, really, the Rat Marvin Gaye one was such a diamond in the rough. You can't just find other combinations that are going to be as good as that one. Sure. So I kind of told him I'll see what I could do, but it didn't really turn into anything. But yeah, I mean, he contacted me. I've had a bunch of people post them to their own Facebook pages. Recently, Nile Rodgers from Chic, he posted the one that I did with Chic and Iron Maiden. He thought it was the coolest thing. And I thought that was amazing because he's a really respected musician, you know?
Totally.
He's produced so many albums.
He just did that stuff with Daft Punk, too. Like, he was heavily involved in that Daft Punk record.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, and for him to really think that it was amazing was a huge compliment. I thought that was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then he has David Coverdale from Whitesnake. He shared I did this one actually last summer. It was a Whitesnake and Eddie Kendricks, his solo project. He's from Temptation. And I did that one last summer, but then just a couple weeks ago, I guess David Coverdale found out about it. He posted it to his Twitter 2 times. He posted it like 1 week and then again a few days later because he thought it was so cool. And Zach Wilde, he loved the one I did with the Black Label Society and Temptations. That was another soul metal one. He posted it to his Facebook and his Instagram several times. I think I saw it on there 3 separate times. So he loved it. He thought it was really cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean I never thought that would happen. You know, when I first started doing these, I thought maybe someday I'll get some attention, but never thought that I'd get all this attention from the actual artists who really like it. So that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's so cool. How often do you come up with new tracks? Do you do like once a week or once a month, or is it something you kind of stumble onto?
It averages maybe 1 every 2 weeks to a month, somewhere around there. I mean, I spend a lot of time beforehand trying to find a good combination because you can't really just take any 2 songs that are in the same key and tempo and just make them work together. They really have to have a lot of musical elements in common for them to really sound good and to sound like their own song. And that's what I try to do is find combinations that are that good that they do sound like they should have been written that way. You know, like this could have been a hit back in the day if they were written this way. So it takes a long time to find a combination that sounds that good together. So, you know, sometimes it's just days just sitting around, I'll sit around on my phone, on like Apple Music, just going through the different radio stations on there, trying to find an instrumental that would sound good with an isolated vocal track that I found. And, you know, eventually you find one and start putting it together in Logic Pro X. That's what I use on my Mac for mixing everything. And then, you know, it sounds really cool and like, okay, I can definitely run with this one and I can make an entire song out of it. So, you know, it depends on, I mean, now I have a lot of time, but, you know, depends on how much time I have to actually sit around and do it and how much I feel like doing it, you know, but yeah, so like once every couple weeks or so, I'll come out with something new.
Cool. Have you ever had legally, is it a tough road to walk? Do they ever like pull your videos down? Has anyone ever like filed complaints or anything?
That's only happened one time. The way that it works is because I run ads on my channel, I'm allowed to have pretty much anything on there, music-wise, but any of the money that's generated from ads will go to the record companies or to the artists. So I don't make anything on YouTube. But you know, they'll send some kind of a copyright notice, like, you know, this is just a heads up, you're not in trouble, but you know, this music belongs to so and so.
Demonetized, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So it's demonetized. But I did have one that was pulled, and it was one that I really liked. So I was kind of pissed about it, but it was the first Slayer and Wham song that I did. It was.
Oh, really? I see. I think I saw that one.
I've done 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
3 different combinations.
Maybe
the first one was Careless Whisper in the Abyss. So it was, you know, Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer and Careless Whisper. And that was another one that took off. I did that just maybe a few months after the Rat and Marvin Gaye one. And that one also took off, like a lot of views really quickly. But within probably a week to 10 days, I got a notice from YouTube saying that I actually got a copyright strike, which is not good. Yeah, they don't, I mean, that's the only time that's ever happened was with that one. And I don't know which song it was that earned me that strike. You know, I think it was the George Michael one, but I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, when you get a copyright strike, it stays on your account for 90 days. And if you get more copyright strikes within that time, if you get a total of 3, then they'll close your account.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, and I mean, that really could happen at any time. It all depends on what the record companies want to do, you know, what they want to let me do and stuff like that. I mean, I hope that never happens, but
yeah,
it's not really in my control. So, but yeah, but that was the only time I ever had one taken down and got a copyright strike.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, one of the things that, like, whenever we share your videos or whatever, we always try to, like, point people to your YouTube channel. So it
Nice.
kind of makes me sad to know that you're not making any money off of it.
Yeah, and I've had people people who follow my channel. A while ago, they just asked, I want to give you a few bucks for this, and I thought, well, I don't know, maybe, like, should I be taking money from people? I don't know. So I put up, I opened up a PayPal account, and I'll put a link to that. If anybody wants to donate, then they can, and some people do. So, like, I've had a few people give $50, $100, just like, here you go.
Totally. I mean, if I knew that, I would pimp that more with me. Because, like, for Facebook, for example, it's like your stuff is, like, I think it's really cool. So we shared one of your videos on our Facebook, and it did really well. It gets shared all over. And it's like, I feel bad because I'm like, well, we didn't make this, but I always make sure and give credit, and put a link to your channel and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate when people do that. Just so more traffic, more people can come and check out what I have and that kind of thing. So that's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have a huge following, but we have like 25K people or something. So
nice.
It's all metal fans, and a lot of what you do is relevant to our audience. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's good. I find that most people are pretty accepting of it too. They'll be like hardcore Slayer fans or Iron Maiden or whatever it is, but they still like what I do with the song. They're pretty open-minded, which I didn't know if that would be the case necessarily, but it seems to be from the comments that I get. There's not a whole lot of negative comments.
For the most part, yeah. We've had people post stuff. Someone posted a meme about like rap and how it takes no talent the other day, and it created this huge like kind of like almost borderline racist comments thread. So I kind of got rid of that. And I've seen people say stuff, but for the most part, you're right. I think people are cool with it, metalheads are open-minded for the most part. They have to be this. The kind of music they listen to is so kind of outside of the mainstream.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really cool to see that, just how open-minded they are and accepting of something else, that's not metal mixed in with something that is. So that's really cool.
So outside of just continuing to make mashups and stuff, do you have anything planned for the future? Anything crazy that might be happening, or any projects outside of this maybe that people should know about?
Not really. No, it's pretty much just the mashups right now. I don't have anything planned beyond that. I want to keep making a lot of like the same kind of things that I've been doing mashup wise. Mm-hmm. But no, nothing really outside of that.
Cool. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, man. That's pretty much all the questions that I had.
Okay.
I really love what you do, and it's really great to connect with you, and we'll definitely keep promoting you too, man. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Take care. Okay, bye-bye.